Algorithm is a clear sequence of steps to be followed by the computer for solving a problem by accepting a set of inputs and processes the set of inputs to produce the desired output. So the term algorithm, in simple terms, we can say it means steps. Steps that needs to be followed to achieve something. Even at home, you want to prepare a tea. There should be an algorithm. And those are steps that you will take. Clear steps. If you skip a simple step, the tea won't come out. Now, the steps follows one after the other. For instance, you can't come up with the tea if you have no water, you have no fire, and the steps of organizing the entire process until the outcome of tea, or tea as our feedback, comes on table. So, algorithm, simple steps. The software we write, those are algorithms, because they are written following step by step. You can put an algorithm somewhere to perform a particular activity expecting particular feedback. So an algorithm can be implemented by the use of one. You can show your algorithm using what they call pseudocode. Pseudocode. I will tell you what a pseudocode means. But you can also use the flowchart. And finally you can use the program code. Pseudocode, flowchart, program code. All these are algorithms, but how are they written? They are algorithms, but how are they written? So I will show you how to write pseudocode, flowchart, and program code. Actually, program code is our task. In the coming lessons, we shall be writing programming codes. Because the purpose of these lessons is to code. The purpose of this lesson is learning how to code. Now, pseudocode. What is a pseudocode? Is a concise description of steps using simple language that computer programmers can follow and write actual computer codes. Now, it means that some of these computer codes that we write, we can do better when you have a pseudocode somewhere. A pseudocode can guide programmers to now write the actual code to run on a computer. But a pseudocode cannot run on a computer because you write using human-like language. You don't use the command-like of a particular programming language, but you use simpler language, which is human-like, which can be read and understood even by non-programmers. So, the following English verbs are common while writing pseudocode as, say, start. Start. What does start mean? Or begin. Start or begin. Here you show that this is for commanding an application to open. That any computer application that we are to write, it must be in a form that it can start. It must be able to start. So that word start or begin is a common and first on the line when you are writing a pseudocode, showing that a program has to start or has to begin. So that one can never miss. The other is input. Input or enter. Enter. Or insert. Insert. Or read. Read. Or get. Get. Now, these words are similar. They are words that are commanding that when the program has started, You only have loaded your program. Can you enter something? Can you input something? Assume you put on your WhatsApp. What next? You enter something before you send. Or you start your other program, any application. There must be a situation of entering data. After starting, you must say input this data, or enter this data, or insert this data. Or the machine is only reading, can say read this data, or get this data, because it is meant to enter somewhere for processing. So this is for commanding the computer to accept data input to its memory locations. Now, the moment you make these commands, it means that you are commanding for that information to be stored in its memory location, the memory of a computer. When you enter data, computer has a memory. The moment you enter that data must have a location to stay, to keep resident there before it can be processed. Then the other instruction can be calculate or compute. Calculate or compute. Because once the data has been entered, some type of data will be calculated or computed. There are some computations don't involve calculations. There are some computations which don't involve calculations. For instance, data items can be sorted or can be compared for various reasons. But we are going to keep on learning. So this is for commanding the computer to process some data, either adding, subtract, multiply, sort, compare, put colors, do anything, all those, draw, and so on, insert images. All those ones are kind of computation activities. Then the other language, you can say print or output or display. Now, once the information has been processed, you need a feedback. So printing will produce out or output. We shall only need an appropriate device for this purpose, where we can either view a printed work or where we can listen, like speakers. You are listening to me here, you need speakers. So that is another form of output. But the way I'm teaching here, I'm inputting, but at the other end you will hear, and that's the feedback that you will want. So this is for commanding the computer to display the information after processing. So this kind of language can never miss when you're writing pseudocode. So the other is stop or end. Stop or end. That once the application has done its duty, it should be able to close. It should be able to close. If it can't close, that's not an application. It should be able to close, to end, to terminate. When you are using your application in mobile phone, when you are done, you close. It should be able to end. So this is for commanding the computer application to close or to stop. So your application will not lack these aspects listed here. Now, let us come to example 3.1, writing pseudocode. We say, write a pseudocode or algorithm which can be followed to print or on a computer screen as to print what? Free at last. You write a pseudocode or algorithm which can be followed to print on a computer screen what? The word free at last. free at last. Now, we start number 1. We number, when we are writing pseudocode, we number our step where we say number 1, start the program. Yeah? This is just a simple pseudocode that start the. Here we are not coding. Please, here we are not coding. Coding something else. Now, when we say start, we mean start a program. When we say start, it means we are commanding the program to start. Then, print. Print what? Print free at last. You are commanding the printer, the computer through a printer, through the screen, that print the word free at last. Then after that, you stop. And that one is the pseudocode. That one is simply the pseudocode.